Här sitter jag med Craig David. Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
It's not the first time you're in Sweden.
Been there a few times now. And every time you see a little something different each time. I was here at Christmas last time and they got me drinking loads of glögg.
Yeah?
That kind of was an interesting experience. So it was
Did you
cool.
like it?
I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, but I know that a few glasses of that and you are good to go.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's Christmas soon, so you can come back for Christmas maybe.
That's why I was kind of in that sort of spirit again of the whole thing.
Right, in November you're releasing your new album.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, trust me.
The new album's it's the fourth album now for me. I feel like I've been able to gain complete creative control of this record. I think you can't help but subconsciously be slightly reactive to things after you've had such a big first debut selling album. And I think I've just been able to allow myself the space and environment to make a record that really represents me as a 26-year-old. And the reason for the title of the record is because I was telling my record company and my management, I said, look, just let me make a record that I'm happy with. Let me make it so it really represents me. So just trust me and I'll do my thing. That's the reason why the album became Trust Me.
Alright, cool.
So.
Did you record it in Cuba?
Well, that's Cuba. Have you been there before?
No, never.
It's great. It's an amazing cultural experience, just because you can sort of see the difference between the older generation and the younger generation. The older ones are quite pro-Castro, like he's kind of come in and helped us as people. The younger generation kind of want to be involved with all the stuff that we have, like from technology to fashion to music, cars, but unfortunately they don't have access to that, so you can tell that there's a frustration there. But the music side of things is incredible. I've never seen such an amazing embrace for their music, dancing, expressing themselves. It is like, you come back to Europe and you're just like, where did we lose all that? Man, but it's amazing out there.
How come you recorded there? Is that the reason, or?
Well, Martin Terefi, who actually was born from Stockholm, he had this thing of like, he could speak fluent Portuguese and Spanish, and he spent time in South America, and he just said that Cuba was just like an amazing place for musicians, and he thought they could bring out another element of the album. And I was like, cool. First we were just going to send the album there and have it sent back with them putting the stuff in. But I thought, well, why not go out there and experience it for myself? So we went to Cuba, had an amazing time, drank far too many mojitos, came back with some great horns and percussion on my album, and a bit of a hangover, but it was good.
Glögg in Sweden and mojitos.
I know, what's going on?
A bit of a party.
I was trying to stay with the traditions of different places. That's what I'm trying to do, get in with the culture.
Right. Whatever, no, I'm kidding.
No.
I listened to your new album a little bit, and I get the feeling it's a bit more different than your last three ones. Like the lyrics are a bit more evocative and like deeper almost. Is that right?
To be honest, on this record, I wanted it to be about the music at the forefront, that you hear the songs and it just kind of gets you into that good feeling like you would have in the 80s, listen to 80s soul music. And then hopefully that you discover the lyric a little later on. Because I think there's only a certain amount. How many times can you tell someone I love you? How many ways can you tell someone I love you? How many times can I tell you about a breakup or a relationship? And I wanted a record that was more about the things that I was enjoying and going through. If you're into that club culture or socialising, you don't want to keep going on about relationships and it not working out, or how much you're in love with someone. I wanted to have an up-tempo record that you can play in the clubs. I want to walk in and hear. Maybe it's an ego thing, but I want to hear. As a DJ, I grew up listening to music and playing in the clubs. Why would you not make a record that has songs on it, rather than having to remix all my stuff to make it work?
Do you like dancing to your own songs?
It's a bit weird, that.
Like, how do you react when your song's playing at the club?
I could be having a really good time. I'm into the whole thing. Head is bobbing, feet are moving. Next thing I hear my songs, and I'm a bit like, right, okay. So that's when I sort of leave for a drink, kind of, because I don't know. I always find it not embarrassment, but just like, I think everyone, if they know that you're in the club, then they all look at you to see your reaction, and it's almost like, look at him loving his own songs over there. But then sometimes, if I've had a few to drink, I love my own songs over there I wrote the song and it's getting played and it sounds good. I will love it. So
does that mean you're a bit shy?
I try to. I'm not really shy. I'm quite confident, but I think in certain scenarios, you try and play the modest card to be a bit more chilled, because I just know how people, especially in the UK and in Europe in general, more so than the UK, people are very cynical, so they're like, not really.
To judge you.
Yeah, they're a bit like, look at him. Not that I really care, but just like, they try and, you know.
Right, and just before the album releases, you release your first single, Hot Stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Hot Stuff is a song that was inspired by being out in Cuba, just because I love the way in which they would kind of meet each other. To impress a girl is the way you dance in the club. It's not about pulling on a dress while she's having a great time. Saying, "Oh, excuse me, love, can I?" Oh, up to my phone.
Be
That's
careful.
how you don't impress yourself when you do that. When you're trying to impress someone, and instead of kind of just like, "Oh, can I get you a drink? Can I talk to you?" In a club environment, when you know it's obviously not what she wants to be doing, over there it's all about the dancing, and I just felt that it inspired me to write a song that was about enjoying yourself and letting yourself loose and expressing yourself and looking for some hot stuff. I think everyone's looking for a little something in the club, but you're not necessarily going to find it by the way that we do, I think, in the Western world, of sort of trying to talk to someone when a banging music is going through your ears. Try and dance, express yourself. That's a good little way of kind of impressing someone. And then we ended up using like a sample from Let's Dance, David Bowie's original. Mm-hmm. Which I didn't know how big the song that was when I grew up, because I was born in 1981 and his song came out in 1983. So when we used it, people were like, "Right, you used that David Bowie sample, wow, it was such a big hit." And it was like a whole reinduction even for me to his music, because I didn't really know David Bowie. I knew who he was, but I didn't know his music that much. Mm-hmm. So me able to put my little twist on my interpretation of what dancing is in the club, because I think it's more about people coming with stilettos on and looking hot, almost wearing barely nothing, almost just like a thong on sometimes when you go in the clubs nowadays. His interpretation was a bit different. His was like of the 80s, where it was a bit like, it was different in the 80s, but now I wanted to make it a bit more current.
Right. Have you met him?
I haven't met him, but...
Have you talked to him?
Nope. But hopefully at some point we will cross paths and kind of, I can say, thanks for allowing me to use the sample, which is cool.
Yeah. Cool. And you had a major success. You sold over 13 million albums. How do you keep your feet on the ground?
Was it great Adidas, like superstars? They kind of usually keep me down, quite grounded.
He's so funny.
You know what? I think it's the way you were brought up as your parents. I mean, they kind of instill those kind of respect and morals as you grow up. So you can't help but kind of like keep your feet on the ground. Because I think when you see people who kind of go off on like they think they're the best thing ever, I think they were destined from a child to be like that. That even if they pretended like they were kind of cool and not like that, as soon as they're given the opportunity, they go crazy. Whereas I know that I'm only as good as my last album. This is roller coaster ride as a musician. So I can be like, yeah, look how cool I am. Next thing you put a song out and people are like, not really feeling that. And next thing you're the coldest thing ever. Yeah. So we want to be hot right now, pardon the pun.
And you are hot and you have a lot of female fans. What do you feel about that?
That's very kind of you. Thank you for that little compliment there. Do you know what? It's very flattering. I mean, I'm far from like Calvin Klein model who's kind of like running around with a sort of briefs out, sort of like check me out. But it's nice. I would definitely prefer that than not. Do you know what I mean?
Do you have a lady in your life?
I don't at the moment, so.
Could you ever date a fan?
Not so much a fan, because I think fan, being a terminology for fanatical, is not really what you want to sort of be sitting at home, sort of have a fanatical person next to you, kind of telling you about your music and stuff. It's a bit like, whoa. But there's been people that I think who probably have been fans of the music, but are able to show that they're not fazed by it. So I'm a bit like, okay, cool. There's opportunity here.
Right, cool. And what's next?
Next is just to kind of just move to Sweden, really. Just like spend most of my time here. You know, just set up shop, open up my own little glug store, selling that only, but throughout all the seasons rather than just at Christmas. And just hang out.
Such a good business idea.
I think it's
no one thought of that before.
No, because they're thinking about it only for Christmas, see? I'm thinking about it for the whole year. That's where people got it wrong. So apart from that, I'm going to be setting up my world tour in March of next year. We've got some shows before the year's out. And just looking forward to the album going out and people hopefully embracing it. And it'll be cool.
Good luck with that.
Thank you very much.
And welcome to Sweden.
Thank you.
I'm going to like it here.
It's very good. If you're good at representing what Sweden's about, we're okay.